What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review for Tamar Braxton's Get Your Life. So this is the show we've been waiting for, right? It's been so much hype, so much innuendo, and so much so forth and so on. So they give us the beginning. They give us this whole thing with Tamar talking about what's been going on in her life these last few years and how much she's lost and her marriage and then the money and just so much and all of that. And we find out that like for a lot of us, the last few things we knew about, Tamar was, the end of the Braxtons or whatever, at least the last season of the Braxtons. We know she got this new boo, David, got the boyfriend. Um, and so we see her meeting with Mona Scott Young. Now I'm gonna try to keep the review separate from what's been in the press, right? So we just gonna keep it there. So she meets with Mona Scott Young, and she's basically talking to Mona Scott Young. And if y'all don't know who she is, she's the producer of shows like the whole Love and Hip Hop franchise and things like that. And so she's just speaking from a point of view of I'm ready. I'm ready to do something different and to move forward. And I need this in my life, and I'm here. I'm committed to it. And Mona was like, listen, we need you committed to it. We need you not to quit in the middle. We need you to really engage in the full process. And she's like, I'm here for it. I'm ready. All of that. And so they have this deep conversation, and she even started talking about how she need Mona in her life and will Mona be her manager. And Mona was like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Flattered, but no. But they have this whole moment, and she's like, yes, I'm committed to it. I'm here. I'm gonna stick with it. And so this is supposed to be like a docu-series of what Tamar's doing to get back on top, right? So we immediately see that she's meeting with this woman by the name of, look, I wrote the woman's name down, child. Well, no, then we saw, okay. So then we saw where they were having Dave, she's living with David now. And they decided they're gonna host a Taco Tuesday for the crew and everybody. I guess they figured y'all gonna be in our house for the next, however many weeks. So, we want to get to know each other and all that. So they had a whole little moment, and we got a glimpse. Excuse me. We got a glimpse of Logan, with and we see that him and David have a decent relationship, and we see him and Tamar and all of that. It was a good little family moment, and um she's just talking to David about, again, basically reiterating the conversation she had with Mona Scott Young and saying, hey, she's ready for this, and the commitment that it's going to take and where they are in their life and all of that. So, okay, cool. So the next day, we find out that she's meeting with a dream coach. And her name is Goalie Sammy. And they are basically helping Tamar get to the bottom of some of her subconscious thoughts and issues. And the first thing that happened that I thought was very interesting was that Tamar was like, well, what if I don't want to? Because some stuff, I'm cool with it being locked away. And she was like, yeah, no, that's got to come out. And I understand what she's saying. She's like, it's all got to come out. Like, that's part of what your problem is, because you're internalizing, you're taking all that stuff in, and that stuff got to come out. Like, whatever it is you holding on to, and it's got to come out. And she said, listen, and now this is the catch. Okay? Now, this is what I heard. Now, y'all tell me if y'all heard something different, but this is what I heard. She said, we're going to start today, and what I need you to do is I need you to, when you write down your dreams, well, before you go to sleep, ask what the universe wants you to know or some shit. I don't know. And then you're going to write down, when you wake up, you're going to write down your dreams. Now, she said, on the nights that you're going to journal, you can't smoke, drink, or have sex. She didn't say every night. She didn't say for the next 45 days you can't have sex. She said on the nights that you are going to record your dreams, it just has to be pure. It can't be under any sort of influence. So, and that makes sense. But this turned into a whole thing about, the next day she's talking to her whole, makeup team and hair and makeup team and telling them about it. And, which of course these are her friends now. And then she's talking to David about it, and David is like, I'm not down with not having sex for 45 days. Like, I'm not, like, sex is important to me. I'm not I don't know what that 45 days. No, I'm not cool with that. But they turned it into this big thing, like, and I'm thinking, but that's not what I heard. Now maybe I heard something different, but I heard her say on the nights that you are going to journal. Anyway, maybe it was me. Maybe I heard what I wanted to hear. Anyway, so the other thing she talked to her about was, she said, you're dealing with a lot of loss right now. And Tamar was like, well, what you mean by loss? She said, you've lost a lot. She said, the fact that you are on the outs with a lot of your family, that's a type of loss. And I was like, oh, so we're going to talk about the fact that she's not in a good place with a lot of her family. Are we going to address that? Are we going to tackle that? So that came up. That was a conversation. So then we saw her go to the studio. And she's meeting with Jay, what's his name? Jay White. He's a big producer. He's like one of the hottest producers out right now. He only has 2 days to work with Tamar. And so they're in the studio. So Tamar was like, this is the studio where I recorded Love and War. And he was like, oh, cool. So is this where you want to record? And she was like, no, because I can't do smoke at all. So I guess people have been smoking in the studio or whatever. And she was like, so, you don't have anything for me? And he was like, well, I thought you said you wanted to create together. She was like, yeah, but you said you only had 2 days. So I thought we were going to, I thought you would have something for me already. I thought you would have something. And they just don't seem to be on the same page from the beginning, I feel like he had a certain expectation and she had a certain expectation. And I don't think they were on the same page. And then he says, she said, well, I'm shy. I'm scared to sing in front of people. And he just kind of was like, oh, okay, it's not computing to me. She said, yeah, I mean, I'm shy. Like, I don't like singing in front of people. And again, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. And she said, even when I'm writing and stuff like that, like, I don't even like, I just like to be by myself. And so I'm just not understanding because, and I don't know if she's lost confidence over the last couple of years, like if that's what she's saying, because I remember her creating with LaShawn Daniels. I remember her creating with Vince. And I never saw that. I'm afraid to be in front of other people. I'm afraid to create in front of other people. Like, I never saw that. So I don't know if this is something that she's developed over the last few years after everything that she's gone through. Like, I'm not sure. So then she asked him, she said, well, she has her goalie is with her dream coach. She comes with her. I guess for her to observe what's going on in Tamar's life. I don't know, John. So she said, well, do you know what people want to hear from me? And he was like, no. He said, but I know people want to hear. He said, I know people want to hear something from you. He said, and we're going to, basically what we give them is what they've been looking for, And she leaves out of the studio and she does this whole dance talking about, so that's a word. That's a word. He just gave me a word. He just gave me a word. And I mean, and I'm just like, but you shy. But right now you running all over the studio with the cameras following you and people looking at you crazy. But you shy. Okay, whatever. So later on that night, we see her telling David, and that's what she's telling David, that, she's going to embark on this new journey to help her, reach her highest potential, to help her get to the next level. This woman has worked, there are a lot of famous actors and actresses and entertainers have done this type of therapy, and they gave off a whole list of people. But I think she said Lady Gaga and the guy that she started the movie with, they both did it. And so she's just trying to get to the next level. Now, here's the thing that I was like, this is the thing that cracked me up about people who want to throw religion around. So David was just like, I don't know, if I'm a born again Christian, and if it's not of God, I just can't subscribe to it. But you just got finished talking about how important sex is to you. Y'all living together, y'all ain't married. Y'all having sex, y'all ain't married. But you don't want to sign off on this type of therapy because you can't get you a little piece. Okay. But he's not with it, so he's not, he's not supportive of it. But he's actually getting ready to go out of town. So I don't even know why the sex thing is an issue, because you ain't even you about to go out of town anyway. You ain't about to be around. But anyway, so then we see the next day, the producer, out of sensitivity to Tamar, basically saying that she wasn't comfortable and she was kind of shy, whatever, he brings the studio to her so that she could be in her house and be comfortable. Well, now she's hoarse. And she's like, nobody cares that I don't have a voice. Nobody cares that I'm hoarse. I have to do it anyway. They're making me do it anyway. And it's almost like, you know, and then when she does, so she doesn't want to sing, but she does finally sing, and then she doesn't like anything she hears. And she's just really being a brat about the situation, and she's pouting and everything. And so finally, the producer is like, so you really don't want to do this right now? Like, you really not feeling this? And she was like, no, I don't have a voice. My voice isn't here. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I can't sing. I don't have a voice. I can't even talk. But people who are singers have always told me that that's two different things. Like, I'm not going to go down that road. Whatever. But the whole situation with her and this producer just seemed to be a bust. And I don't know if it's because she's just not ready to go back into the studio, if she's not confident yet to go back into the studio. I'm not sure what it is. But it was a bust. It just seemed like a waste of his time. And I felt bad because I'm like, I feel like he's squeezing you in. And so that happens. That happens. So then she has this weird dream, and so she wants to talk to her dream coach about it. And she tells the dream coach about the dream, and it's about something about Tyler Perry, and he was her boyfriend, and and it was an interior designer that wanted to help her, but she didn't want the interior designer's help. And then her and Tyler Perry drove off, and they went down in a ditch, and they crashed the car. And what she came to the realization in her therapy session was that the interior designer wasn't really an interior designer. It was really an angel that was sent to help her, and because she didn't listen, she ended up crashing into the tree. And so that was a moment for her, and she sort of broke down in that moment. And she had a moment, and she sort of broke down in that moment. And the I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. The coach was like, you know, sit in it, let it come out, sit in it, let it, you know what I mean? Like, the coach was telling her, hey, let that out, like that's. And Tamar must have she was doing another exercise with her where Tamar was actually talking to the people in the dream. I don't know, something deep that is, I guess, clearly above my head spiritually, because but at that moment she had some sort of breakthrough, and she actually ran out the room, went in the bathroom, and was crying. And the dream coach was like, you know, in this process, Tamar is going to have to really deal with some things that she's probably pushed away, or some things she's pushed aside. She's going to have to really process it. And right now, she sort of is having one of those moments where she sort of hit a wall, and a lot of stuff is coming up, and she's having a moment. And she actually goes to the producers and says, listen, I think she might need a break from the cameras for a minute. Like, she's really dealing with something right now, and I think she might need a break from the cameras. And of course, the producers are like, so she had a breakthrough? And she was like, yeah, she's had a breakthrough. And the producers was like, yeah, we need to tape that. Like, that's why we're here. And so then Tamar comes out of the bathroom, and she sits down with her coach, and she says to the producer, she said, listen, I have let y'all film every part of my life for the last 5 or 6 years. I even let y'all film the birth of my child. She said, but this is not for y'all. And she shuts it down. And that's pretty much where the episode ends. And again, I see it from both sides. If she really truly is processing some stuff, and some things came out that she feels comfortable talking to the coach about, but she doesn't want on camera yet because she's still processing it, I can respect that. The flip side is, if they're there to film a show, and the purpose of this show is for her to be her raw, authentic self while she goes through this process, then they're like, hey, that's why we're here. We're here to get all of this on camera. So I get the conflict, and it'll be easy for people to be like, oh, they were just being insensitive, but this is what she signed up for, you know. And I get it. that's when you don't always know which direction this stuff is going to take. I feel like they maybe could have given her a minute to maybe get herself together, because she was clearly upset. But I sort of understand their perspective on it. I don't know. But I also understand Tamar's perspective. You know? So anyway, that was the first episode. Like, yeah. I don't know. We'll see where this goes. Talk to y'all later. Peace.